Thank you so much, Arshi, for making me on.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining in and welcome for this amazing session on averages and how they are used in the game of cricket. So before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Rushal and I'm an engineer turned teacher. I love teaching maths and science, and that's why I quit my job at IT and started teaching. This happened around 10 years back. So I'm from Pune, and I work with a lot of students, from grades 6, 7, 8, and 9th, and we do a lot of projects. We do exhibitions, a lot of things. So today we are going to talk about averages. Before we start, let me make one more appeal. Guys, please feel free to ask me questions whenever you have them. You could write them in the chat, or you could just, ping me and ask me with your mic on. Okay. So Arshi, thank you so much for having your video on. I'll be sharing my screen, so you can switch your camera off now. Just give me a second and we will get to the screen in just a second.
Hi, Naveen. Thanks for joining the session.
Hey, hi, Naveen.
Hi.
All right, so let's begin. Averages and how averages are used in cricket. Okay, so let us begin. Today we are going to talk about a lot of things. Average, what it is, then how do we calculate averages, and then how is average useful in the game of cricket. Okay, so let me start by, when I was a kid, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, I was actually crazy about cricket, and we would, mug up all the statistics that they used to tell us on the TV. So we used to watch a match, then we used to watch the highlights, and we would predict now it's going to hit a 4, or now there's a wicket or something like that. And then we always had a discussion on who is a better player. And then all my friends had different opinions, right? So for me, I used to like Rahul Dravid and Venkatesh Prasad. Now these are all old guys from my time. My friends used to like somebody else, and then there was some other guy who used to like somebody else, and we would fight actually that who is a better player and how my selection of a good player is better. So but now when we grow up, I realized that okay, it was not that difficult actually. We had mugged up all the statistics, but just a smart look at some numbers and statistics would actually have helped us really figure out who is good. So we'll talk about that in today's session, how that will happen. So let me throw this question to you. How do we decide which is the best cricket team in the world? Or for that matter, who are the best batsmen or bowlers? Yes? I'll wait for a few responses. I really hope that you guys participate. So Naveen, Madiha, Sriniti, whoever wants to go, Yashita.
Are they the ones who do many runs?
Okay. So you're talking about batsmen, right?
Yes.
So you say most runs, highest number of runs.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Great. Fantastic. Anybody else? You can also use the chat if you want. Okay. Arshi says Sachin Tendulkar is the best batsman. Okay. What about bowlers? How do we know who is the best bowler? Some of them have really good action. They are really fast. Shoaib Akhtar was the fastest bowler. Brett Lee, very fast, right? But how do you know who is the best bowler?
Sir, by how many wickets they have done?
Okay, how many wickets? Very interesting. So how many wickets they have taken for a bowler and how many runs they have scored for a batsman, right? Now, these things are really important. But apart from that, there are a few more things that are even more important. Yeah. So any guesses about that? Yes, Madiha, Naveen, you have not spoken yet. Siddharth. Oh, I see Siddharth is also here. Guys, please participate. It will help me.
That batsman should do so much 4 and 6, sir.
Oh, so the number of fours and sixes is what is important. So if a batsman is hitting a lot of fours and six, he's good. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. How do they come up with the calculations and rankings? Who is the top batsman in the world or top bowler in the world? Are they looking at fours and sixes, or are they looking at the number of runs they have made? What exactly are they looking at? So Arshi says both. Okay, very interesting. So we just figure out, actually it has to do with today's topic, average. Okay, so let us just understand how we can rate our players using averages. So for example, you have on the screen two of the one of the greatest batsmen that we have today, right? Virat Kohli is there and Babar Azam is there. Which team is Babar Azam from, by the way?
Bhutan, sir.
Huh?
Bhutan, sir.
Okay, Bhutan. Okay, okay. I think he's from a different country. Okay. We'll just figure out in some time. Okay, no problem. So, guys, here are some of the statistics. The blue color. Can you see the strip down here? 82, 76, 2794. That's the statistics for Virat Kohli. All right. And the bottom one is for Babar Azam. Now, looking at this, who has scored more runs?
Virat Kohli.
Sir, Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli.
But you know what? Babar Azam should be given the benefit of doubt. Why? Because look at the innings, the second column. Virat Kohli has played much more, in fact, double. So he will have scored more runs because he has played more. You get the point? If it is only about the highest number of runs, then clearly Virat Kohli is a winner over here. But then we should give some, what about Babar Azam, who has not played that much? What if he plays, in his 76th match, probably he might score more than Virat. Then how do you say who is the best? So that's the question, right? And this is where averages help us. Okay, so just look at this. The last column, average. Who can tell me what's the difference between Virat Kohli and Babar Azam in averages? Yes, guys, I want more active participation. Please keep talking. Madiha, Naveen, Siddharth. Sriniti, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Can you just check the average column? Who has a higher average?
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli. He has 50.80, and then Babar Azam has 50.72. So there's a very small difference, right? Virat Kohli is still the best batsman that we have, but Babar Azam is not far away. He's very close, in fact. But if you look at the number of runs both of them have scored, then Virat Kohli has almost double the number of runs. You see?
Yes.
So number of runs is not the only criteria. We'll soon find out how we find all these averages, what it means, and how it can be useful for us. All right. Let us take one more example. Yes, you have a question?
No, sir. The average is that 0.08.
Whose average is 0.08? The difference.
No,
the difference between both averages?
0.08.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. Great. Great job. All right. So now let us move on to the next one. Now this one is about bowling, right? These are some of the greatest fast bowlers all time. If you look at the second column year, it says 2018, 2003, 1984, 1982, 1955. So cricket is being played for around 100 years now, and that's why we have. Is anyone talking, Kiran?
Yeah, so I think I'm not able to see the new slide. It's the old slide only. Okay, now I.
Are you able to see my slide? Fast bowlers?
Yeah, I can. Others?
Yes, sir. We can see the new.
Okay, fine. Let's carry on. Yeah. All right. So these are some of the all-time greatest bowlers, and how do you judge which one is better? All right. Again, there is something called as average. If you look at the last column, right? It says Jason Holder 11.87, then Shoaib Akhtar 12.36, Richard Headley 13.20. And did you notice that for the batsmen, for batting, the higher the average, the better you are. But for bowling, the lower the average, the better you are, right? So Jason Holder is all-time top bowler with an average of 11.87 only. We'll figure out what that average means, okay? But this is just to give you a brief idea of averages are something very important, and especially in sports, they have a lot of application, and we should understand what averages are. So let us quickly watch this small video and try to understand what average is and how we can use it. All right. So I just play the video. Just tell me if the sound is clear and you are able to hear nicely. Okay.
Let's start with the mean. You may not have ever heard of something called the mean before, but
are you able to hear that?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Great. So by the way, mean is just another word for average. So for this session, you can just consider both of them to be the same.
But you've heard of the average? If so, then I've got good news. Mean means average. Mean and average are just two different terms for the exact same property of a data set. The mean, or average, is an extremely useful property. To understand what it is, let's look at a simple data set that contains 5 numbers. As a visual aid, let's also represent those numbers with stacks of blocks whose heights correspond to their values. 1, 8, 3, 2, 6. Right now, since each of the 5 numbers is different, the stacks of blocks are all different heights. But what if we rearrange the blocks with the goal of making the stacks the same height? In other words, if each stack could have the exact same amount, what would that amount be? Well, with a bit of trial and error, you'll see that we have enough blocks for each stack to have a total of 4. That means that the mean, or average, for our original data set would be 4. Some of the numbers are greater than 4, and some are less. But if the amounts could all be made the same, they would all become 4. So that's the concept of the mean. It's the value you'd get if you could smooth out or flatten all of the different data values into one consistent value. But is there a way that we could use math to calculate the mean of a data set? After all, it would be very inconvenient if we always had to use stacks of blocks to do it. There's got to be an easier way. Oh, man. To learn the mathematical procedure for calculating the mean, let's start with blocks again. But this time, instead of using trial and error, let's use a more systematic way to make the stacks all the same height. This way involves a clever combination of addition and division. We know that we want to end up with 5 stacks that all have the same number of blocks, right? So first, let's add up all of the numbers, which is like putting all of the blocks we have into one big stack. Adding up all of the numbers, or counting all the blocks, shows us that we have a total of 20. Next, we divide that number, or stack, into 5 equal parts. Since the stack has a total of 20 blocks, dividing it into 5 equal stacks means that we'll have 4 in each, since 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So that's the math procedure you use to find the mean of a data set. It's just 2 simple steps. First, you add up all the numbers in the set, and then you divide the total you get by how many numbers you added up. The answer you get is the mean of the data set. Let's use that procedure to find the mean age of the members of this fine-looking family here. If we add them all up using a calculator, or by hand if you'd like, the total of the ages is 222 years. But then we need to divide that total by the number of ages we added, which is 6. 222 divided by 6 is 37. So that's the mean age of all the members in this family.
All right. Any questions, comments, guys? What did you understand from this? So Arshi says we take 2 or more numbers, add them, and then divide it with the number of the numbers. Yes, that does make sense, Arshi. So who can tell me what does average mean? What did you understand from this? Aditya? Yes, anyone? Naveen, Sriniti, Yashita? Guys, please be with us. So average can be one value which would represent all the values in a given data set. All right. So suppose we are talking about cricket. Suppose we are talking about maximum number of runs. Suppose we are talking about the best batsman. We have a lot of data, right? So one value which can sum up or analyze a particular data set, that's an average. And how do you get it? You get it by adding all the different numbers and then dividing it by the number of numbers you had. All right. So who can tell me? Average is 2 steps, right? The first one is
Addition and then division.
awesome. Addition, then division. Thank you, Yashita. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on. Okay, Arshit has also said add and divide. Great. Let's move on to the next one. See, there it is. Average is the total of all items upon the number of items that we have, right? Now, let us see where all we use averages. So this you must have heard about, average speed, right? Suppose I have a bike, right? And I go to my office every day. When I just move out from my house, there's a very nice patch of road, no traffic. I can, speed up 50 kilometers per hour, right? And then all of a sudden I hit a place where there's a lot of traffic every day and my speed is reduced considerably. And now it is only 30 kilometers per hour, right? And then I reach my office. So I have 2 speeds. Which is the first one?
50 kilometers per hour.
50 kilometers per hour. And what is what's the second speed?
30 kilometers per hour.
30. Can anyone help me find my average speed? What do you think is my average speed? So you add both of them and then divide by the number of speeds I have.
40 kilometers per hour.
Awesome, 40. Why? Because 50 and 30, when we add them in the first step, that's 80. Then we divide by 2. Why 2? Because 2 speeds, 50 and 30, right? So 80 upon 2, that's my average speed. And what is that used for? What is that used for?
It's used to find the average speed.
But how will it help me? So suppose I want to fly from Pune to Bangalore. I want to come and meet you guys. All right. When I book my flight ticket, it tells me all the different airlines, right? Different flights are there. And then some of them will say 2.5 hours. Some of them will say 2 hours. Some will say 1.5 hours. Why is that time different for different flights? Because all the aircrafts have different average speed, right? So they are using average speed to calculate how much time will the flight take to complete, one way from Pune to Bangalore, right? So average speed, very useful in transportation, very useful in all other kind of things, right? So that's one average speed. Then average marks. Now, since I am a teacher, before coming here for this class, I just gave a test to my students and I have 20 students in my batch. And now all of them will get different marks. I've not checked the papers yet, but then somebody will get, 10%, somebody will get 90%, somebody will get 40%. I want to know how useful has my teaching been to my students, right? So how do I know that? So I will take up all the marks, add them, and divide by the number of students to get the average marks of my class. So I know, okay, so on an average, my class is doing good. It's like 42 on 50, which means more. Some people will have more than 42 marks, some will have less than 42 marks, but somewhat I can say one single number for my entire class, that's 42 on 50. All right, so that's how averages are useful. And then of course, the next one is in sports. Sports is the thing that we have to now do. Okay, so let's talk about averages and calculating batting averages. So when I asked you some time back, how do you know who is the best batsman, right? And then people said that total number of runs. And then I asked you a question, what about Babar Azam? Because he has not played those many number of matches, right? So here's how you'll find the batting average. The total number of runs a batsman has scored divided by the number of times he has got out. Okay, so suppose I play 10 matches and out of those 10 matches, I am not out in 2. I'm not out in 2, right? So how many times did I get out? Yes, guys, how many times did I get out? I went to batting in all the 10 matches. I got out twice. Sorry, I did not get out twice. So 8, right? 8 times I have not gotten out, right? So that is what is important, right? So anyway, so how do you find the batting average? Batting average is the total runs scored by a batsman divided by the number of times they have got out, right? So 8, for my case, it will be 8. So that's how you get the batting average. All right. And there is one more statistics actually, which is called the strike rate. This average, this is also a kind of an average. And this average tells me how fast I play or how slow I play. So for example, how many runs I score for every 100 balls that I face. Okay. So Dhoni is a very fast and aggressive player. Kohli is very fast and aggressive player. But if you look at Dravid, have you heard his name, Rahul Dravid? Have you seen him play? Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir. So he's a very firm and good cricketer, but he'll take his time, he'll play slow. So how do you measure who is playing faster and who is playing slower? That's the strike rate, right? So that's the average runs scored per 100 balls faced. So how do you get that? Now there's a simple formula for that. Total runs scored again. So we are dealing with an average over here also. Total runs scored upon number of balls faced, right? So that, and when you multiply that by 100, because we want it as a percentage, then you get the strike rate, right? So average, this is how averages are useful. So now I have a little bit of task for you. We have some of the top batsmen that we have today, and that's our data set. Okay, I just pulled it out from a website. So Finch is there, Babar is there, and then Virat is there. All right. How many runs each of them have scored and how many times they have gotten out. Everything is mentioned. Who can quickly do some math, do some calculations, and tell me which out of these top 3 players is the best batsman? Yes, so guys, it's a small task for you. Let me see who can do it fast enough. Arshi, I can see, has already started doing the math. Aditya, others guys, please make it fast. I hope everybody is working. Naveen, Sriniti, Yashita, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, guys, please keep talking. Please keep talking with me. Who has an idea how to go about this? Okay, Hari has joined, I guess. He's not able to hear us right now. Yes, Arshi, have you got any answers? Guys, what will we need to do? We'll need to find the batting average for all the three players, right? Batting average. And how do you do that? Total runs scored upon the number of times they have got out, right? So the batting average for Finch would be 2751 divided by 80. That for Babar would be 2696 divided by 60. Aditya, are you making any progress?
No, sir.
Sir, it's Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli, okay. What's his batting average?
53.2.
Okay, good. And what about Babar and Finch?
For Finch, it's 34.3875.
Mm-hmm.
And for Babar, it's 44.9.
Fantastic. Great job, Arshi. I hope others are also catching up with the calculations. Srinidhi, you have not spoken at all. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm there. I'm calculating the number.
Okay, okay. Please do it fast. Yeah. Yashita, how about you? Naveen?
So now I have answered, right?
Oh, you answered, Yashita. I thought Arshi answered. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who else is there? So guys, just take 20 more seconds. I think Naveen is still facing network issues. Are you able to hear us, Naveen? All right, guys, that's it. So here you go. These are the batting averages. So Yashita had made almost perfect, like perfect calculations. So Finch is 34.38. How do I get that? 2751 divided by 80. That's an average. Okay. Batting average. Then Babar Azam is 44.93. And then Virat is 53.23. Now, what this means is, one, Virat Kohli is the top batsman. Okay. But what else does it tell us? Aditya, Yashita, if anyone wants to try. So basically, this batting average is going to tell us that on an average, how many runs will that particular batsman score before he gets out? Right? So a batting average of 53 means that Virat is most likely to score around 53 runs before he gets out, because that's what he has done in the last so many matches. Right? In the 70 odd matches that he has played, he has scored almost 50 runs every time. So it's not to say that he has scored 50 every time. Sometimes he must have scored more than 50, 70, 90, 100. Sometimes he might have scored less than 50, 30, 40, right? But on an average, if there's just one number which I want to represent Virat Kohli with, how much will he make before he gets out? It's going to be that of batting average, which is 53.23. Right? Babar Azam will score 44, almost 45 runs before he gets out. Average, right? That's his performance in the last so many matches that he has played, and same for the other person, Finch, right? So by looking at the batting averages, we can say that Virat Kohli is more reliable, right? More reliable in terms of scoring more runs. So that is how all of them are top brand players, right? Top-notch players. But still, if you want to just go for the comparison, that's how we can compare them. Averages, right? So average in work, average in daily life, batting average. Now let us quickly look at another example for bowling. Now bowling has slightly complicated way to calculate the average. Okay, so one is very easy, bowling average. So just like batting average, bowling average. I showed you the bowling average that to compare bowling averages, it has to be less. The lesser the average, the better a player you are, bowler you are, right? So how it is done here is runs conceded. So if I am the bowler, how many runs have I conceded? How many times I have been hit for 4, 6, or how many runs have I conceded? Simple. Upon wickets taken. Upon wickets taken. Right? So suppose in one match, I bowled 10 overs. All right. 10 overs means 60, right? 60 balls. And then I got hit for around 100 runs, right? Let's say 100 runs. So when I bowled 10 overs, I got hit for 100 runs. All right. So runs conceded is 100. And in that same match, I also took 5 wickets, right? So 100 runs, 5 wickets. Who can tell me my bowling average? Come on.
20, sir.
20. Awesome. Great. All right. 20. My bowling average is 20. Suppose another colleague of mine, he gave 80 runs. All right. He conceded 80 runs, but he took just 2 wickets. Whose performance is better? Again, let me just frame the question again. I bowled, and I conceded 100 runs. I took 5 wickets. All right. My friend, he bowled, he gave away 80 runs and he took just 2 wickets. Who is a better, whose performance is better? Is it mine or my friend's? How is my performance better? I am giving away more runs. My team will lose because of it. Okay, Arshi says yours 40. Okay, so actually my performance is better. Why? Because, okay, lesser the average, better the player. So actually my average is more than that of my friends, because my average is what? Runs conceded 100 divided by wickets taken 5. 100 by 5 is 20. But look at my friend. He gave away 80 runs and took just 2 wickets. So 80 divided by 2 is 40.
40.
Right? So, yeah. So my average is 20. His average is 40. So I've performed better. Right? So this is how bowling average is calculated. And now let us look at a few more things. One is economy rate. How many runs have I given away per over? Right? So if I have considered 100 runs in 10 overs, it means every over I got hit for 10 runs. 100 divided by 10. Right? If my friend, he gave away 80 runs and he bowled just 5 overs, then 80 divided by 5, 16. His economy rate is 16 minus 10. So that is also one way in which we can look at averages. Another way of calculating the bowling performance, right? And then there is something called as a bowling strike rate. So how many balls will I bowl and then take a wicket? Right? So number of balls that I have bowled in my entire journey upon the number of wickets I have taken. All right. So all these 3 averages help us make a judgment of who is the best bowler. Right? So again, another data set. Now see, get used to this language, data set. Data set is just a collection of data, and then we have to use averages, mean, median, mode, all those kind of things. I think somebody's mic is disturbing me. Just mute him, right? And then we use different tools. So average is also a kind of a tool to understand my data better. All right. So now, guys, another task for you. We have again 3 top class bowlers, current bowlers. Chahal is there, Rashid Khan is there, and Sodhi is there, right? So I have given you some data, runs conceded and wickets taken. Who can tell me how we find the bowling rate? Yes, guys, bowling rate, come on. How do we find it?
By dividing.
Divide the runs conceded upon wickets taken. Runs upon wickets, right? So runs upon wickets. So for example, Chahal, 1942 runs, 79 wickets taken. How will we find his average? Divide the two, right? So divide all the three numbers and then tell me who is the better bowler. All right, you have just 1 minute for that. Please take that time and quickly do the calculations, quickly do the math. By the way, I don't want exact answers. Even if you can give me approximate value, that should be good enough for us to make a judgment who is better out of the three. Yes, guys, I hope you are working. Aditya?
Sir, YS channel got 24.58, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay,
and,
good.
Rashid Khan
and second
got
one, 13.73, sir.
Rashid Khan, 13?
Point 73.
Okay, awesome. What about Sodhi?
Sir, 21.35.
Awesome. Awesome. Great, great. So, all right. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. You guys have actually jumped into the math and told me the correct answer. So here you go. Bowling average for Chahal is 24.58. All right. Very close. Rashid is 13.73. I think that was perfect. And so we can say that Rashid is the best bowler amongst these three guys, right? So again, average, how average can be useful to make data useful, right? So, all right, somebody is annotating. Huh?
Charging.
Okay. So let's move ahead. Now we will actually look at how averages actually help us. So by the way, let me just show you a small thing. There's this website, right? ESPN Crick Info. And then there's a section of statistics. Stats stands for statistics, right? And then when you come on this page, you will find, you can have this team's rating. So batting, bowling, fielding, team, which team is performing well. And if you look here, what they have done is, so for example, this is the list of best batsmen. Okay, so Virat Kohli is there, Sharma is there, Finch is there, Babar Azam is there. All these players are there. This is telling you the span from what time to what time have they taken data from. Then matches, innings, not out. See, not out is very important because if he has played 85 innings and has remained not out 25 times, it means he got out 60 times, right? So you have to divide his total runs by 60. You get that? And then that's how you find the average. See, 53.23. You guys also calculated that. So by this method, they have calculated average of all the batsmen and they have found out that Kohli is the best. Sorry about that. I just clicked on some link by mistake. Yeah. And then they found out that Kohli is the best batsman. Same you can do for bowling. You can select the dates from when you want all that data from. And then again, see, Rashid Khan is the best bowler. Why? Because he has taken more wickets, but not only that, he has given very less runs. Both are important. Giving less runs and taking more wickets. Both are very important, right? So you divide the two and then you get. So that's his average, 13.73. See, that's the economy rate. Every over, every 6 balls, he is giving 6.16 runs. So economy wise, Sodhi is costlier because if you give him an over, he'll be hit for more number of runs, but then he's also good at taking wickets. So as a captain, you need to take that judgment, which over should be given to whom and when, right? So all that data will help you make a better decision when you're out there on the field, right? So we'll just talk about that in a little bit. So this is how data is used, it is very important. Average is one of the most important tools which is used to judge performances of different players, right? And for that matter, even teams. So we just look at that. So here is another question for you now. How do you think averages would help captains make good decisions? I just gave you a small hint, but you have to expand on it and tell me. Yes, Arshi, Aditya. Yes.
Sir, it will help captains which player should play first.
So team selection, very good. Team selection. You need to know who are the best players that should come on the team. Awesome. What else? Anyone else, guys? Okay, there's something in the chat to see the performance of every single player. Okay. Yes, Hari.
Ricky Ponting, sir. Number 1.
No, that is fine. He's the number 1 captain. But why? Because he's using good data, right? He's able to make sense of the data he has got. So he can make good decisions. What kind of decisions can Ricky Ponting take if he has all that data of averages?
Hi, Heritage. Keep your mic mute, man.
All right. So guys, actually it is very important, as somebody pointed out, right, that first of all, you need to have a good team. But then if you are doing a 50-over game, if you're doing a 20 overs game, so your strategies will change, right? So just give me a second, right? So batting average and bowling average will of course help you in deciding the team, right? Team selection is there. Batting strike rate will help you decide. Wait, somebody's mic is disturbing.
Heritage's mic is disturbing.
Okay. So batting strike rate will help us decide how to organize the batting lineup. Right? Who should go first? Who should go second? Who should go third down, fourth down, fifth down? If it's a 50 overs game, third and fourth down person should be those who have a better striking rate, because we want them to play fast. So strike rate means if I face 100 balls, how many runs I am scoring out of those 100, right? So Dhoni and Kohli are aggressive players, right? So they go out there and just hit everything. Yuvraj Singh, not a good idea to make them openers. But if they go 3 or 4 down, 5 down in a 50-over game, one-day international game, then around, when will they come to bat? Around 30, 35, 40 overs. And in the last overs, the slog overs, when you want maximum hitting to be done, so you know by looking at the strike rate, which is an average, right? Average, whom to send when. Similarly, bowling average will help you decide whom to give the final overs, whom to give the first overs, whom to give the middle overs, right? Economy rate, how many runs am I conceding in every 1 over? That average, again average, right? That will tell me whom to give bowling in the start or middle of the game. Strike rate will help in my team selection. A lot of things are there. So all these judgments are very important, and averages help us take those judgments, right? So that's about how teams are made. And then, this is some just extra information for you. So batting record in international cricket since 2019, whenever you have come across these statistics, you will always find average. You see, innings, runs, average, highest score. So somebody in the beginning said how many 4s and 6s you are hitting. Of course, that is important. How many centuries you are hitting. Of course, it is important. But suppose you don't hit centuries, all right? But you play for 4 overs and you hit a lot of runs. That is more useful for the team sometimes. So different kind of people are there in a team. They play different kind of roles, and averages help us make that good decision, right? Same for all-rounders. You will have, for all-rounders, you will have bowling average as well as batting average and stuff like that. Now this is again one more chart, best bowling average by team. So now this is not for a particular player, but for the entire team. So how do you find that? How do you figure that out? So the team 1 is South Africa, 9 matches, 166 wickets, 23.72 average. Who can tell me how many runs will somebody or will South Africa's opponents have made against him? Just by looking at this chart. I hope you understand the question. Bowling average is what? After how many runs you are taking a wicket, right? Total runs considered upon number of wickets. So after how many runs you are going to take a wicket. So now don't think about a bowler, think about a team. So if South Africa is playing, after how many runs will they take a wicket? So after 23 runs, every 23 runs, they will pick up a wicket. That's the average performance of Team South Africa, right? Pakistan, after every 24 runs, they will take a wicket. India, after every 24.55 runs, we will pick up a wicket. Very good. But look at Afghanistan. They are not very good at taking wickets. So after every 51 runs, they will pick up a wicket. So bowling average, right? This is how you can compare countries. This is how lists are made, top countries, right? So let us summarize what we have learned so far. We are talking about averages. So averages actually help us quickly summarize data from a big data set, right? It is one single number which will express the central or a typical value for the entire data set. So if I have to replace all my batting by one figure, it will be my batting average, right? And then it is calculated by dividing the sum of all items, which goes in the numerator, divided by the number of items that you have, right? So any questions so far? Okay, so if you don't have questions, I have questions for you. So let's go in for this short quiz. Guys, let me see who can do this quickly and mentally. Mental maths, come on. Average of 3, 5, and 10 is. Please shout your answers, write in the chat box, do whatever. How will you do? You will add all the 3 and then divide by a number. What number? Can't hear you, beta.
6.
6? Somebody is saying 6. I think Yashita is saying 6. Okay, how did you do that, Yashita?
Sir, I have added all 3 numbers, dividing it by 3.
Awesome. So divide by 3. Why 3? Because there are 3 numbers, right? So 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 10 is 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Fantastic. That's the correct answer, right? One more question. One final question before we leave. Come on. This one. Tell me. Let me see who can hit it first. 14, 20, 30, 12.
It's 19.
Okay, Yashita again.
Answer is 19.
Yes, I'm waiting for others. What are others doing? Come on, guys. Madiha, Hari.
19.
19 it is.
19. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's the correct answer. 19. Great, man. You guys are wonderful. Fantastic. So that's it from my side in today's class. But before we leave, I would like to hear from you what all new things you learned today. And if you have any questions, we could talk about that. So guys, I open it up for you now. I really expect, okay, so Hari is showing us his calculations. Amazing. Thank you so much, Hari. Fantastic. Sriniti says 19. Good. So guys, quickly, we'll open it up for a few comments, how you found the session and what all new things you learned from it. Yes, Hari? Your mic was mute, Hari. We couldn't hear you. Still, your mic is mute. I think he's unable to unmute.
Hari, your mic is mute.
Wait, let me.
Please unmute, Mr. Hari.
Hari, try now. You might be able to unmute now. Okay. Yes, Hari. I think you're not able to unmute yourself. Just type in the chat. Okay, Sriniti, Yashita. Arshi says she learned how to find averages, I guess. Right? How to take out average. Understood what is importance of averages in daily life. Okay, good. Yashita says she learned how to find averages in cricket. Sriniti says what is average. Okay, good. Arshi, okay. Awesome, guys. So, any questions?
No, sir.
I think Hari is trying to speak, but we are unable to hear him. Hari, if you can hear us, please type in the chat because you are not audible at all.
Yeah, there is some network problem with Hari's side. That's why you can't.
Okay. All right, guys. So that's it from this side. On a scale of 5, if you could just quickly give me a rating on like how interesting you found the class. If you found some new things that help you, probably that it should be around 4 or 5. So just yeah, okay. So Archie says 4. Thank you so much. Others, guys. Yashita says 5. Thank you. All right. So I think that will be it, Kiran.
Yeah, thanks, Rushal. You can stop the recording now.